The reason I called this press conference is that, first of all, I remember that over the Christmas holidays, I promised you that I will be more accessible to the press. And I am now fulfilling that promise. And because, to tell you the truth, I've been a little bit dissatisfied with the ambush interview. Kasi some of the things that we talk about are not simple na yung isang soundbite lang kuha na. Hindi pwede yun. So, so I thought that we should have a proper press conference where you can ask your questions, take your time asking the question, hindi tayo nagmamadali. And to continue that, I think I've asked Cesar to arrange that we do this at least once a month, unless there's something very, very important, like there is today. Now, I know I have been watching, of course, I've been watching the coverage on the impeachment proceedings in the different, both from the traditional media and social media. And maliwanag naman na marami kayong itatanong. Kaya sabi ko, hindi naman yung mga sagot ko hindi makukuha sa isang sentence lang. Kaya kailangan siguro gawin na natin to. And so anyway, so let's start a subject on the impeachment of Vice President Sara by the House of Representatives. Now, I think it is useful, siguro para maunawaan talaga natin ang mga pangyayari at bilang siguro parang paliwanag na rin doon sa mga tanong na nakikita ko sa mga commentator. Number one, maalala ninyo, nagsimula lahat ito nung I made the pronouncement, sinabi ko na ayaw ko yung sana wag na tayo mag-impeachment dahil madaming ibang trabaho at actually it's also not practical. At nung panahon na yon, nung una kong sinabi yun, wala pang nagfa-file ng impeachment. Kaya sana, I was hoping na makumbinsi ko lahat ng kung sino man, wag na muna natin gawin ito. Kung talagang meron kayong paniniwala na kailangan gawin ito, wag naman siguro muna ngayon at marami pa tayong gagawin. Kaya kung titignan naman ninyo, yung mga kaalyado ko sa House of Representatives, wala sa kanila ang nag-file. Wala sa sumunod naman nila sa hiniling ko sa kanila na wag silang mag-file ng impeachment dahil hindi magandang timing at saka marami pang problema. Ngunit, may ibang grupo, of course, the Makabayan group out of the House of Representatives, Senator Laila De Lima, the religious group nag-file ng tatlo. And if you remember, nung statement si JPE na sinasabi niya hindi pwedeng pigilin yan dahil may grupo na ayaw. I think he was referring to Iglesia ni Cristo. So sinabi niya, hindi naman natin pwedeng pigil dahil may grupo o may tao na ayaw yan. At sinabi ko sa inyo, nung tinanong niyo sa akin, sabi ko, I agree with him. Totoo. And if you remember, my words were this: they will not, once the impeachment complaints are filed, they have no choice. The House has no choice. The Senate has no choice. Kailangan nilang i-proseso ang impeachment complaint. And that's exactly what has happened. Once the impeachment complaints were filed, the House and the Senate, they have no choice. Nakatali ng kamay nila. They have to do this. And they have to do it in recognition of the complaints that have been filed. So, yun ang nangyari ngayon. And that's why we have come to this point where the House has transmitted already the impeachment complaint to the Senate. We have heard some of the statements made by the Senate President as to how he is planning to handle it. So we will have to see because it is many, as you've heard before, and that we heard many times during the Corona trial, these impeachment trials are sui generis. And therefore, we have to be very clear how the rules are and how it will be conducted. Yun ang naalala ko because I was also in the House and I was in the Senate during the Corona trial. Kaya I have some understanding do sa mga procedure. But anyway, that's the way I see it. That's the way that happened. And now I'll open the floor to any questions of yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. First question, Ivan Marina, GMA7.
Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good afternoon.
While it is true na constitutional duty ng House na to act on the impeachment complaint, meron ho silang choice kung i-endorse sila o hindi. Diretsuhin ko na po yung tanong, did you have a hand in this impeachment?
No, the executive cannot have a hand in the impeachment. Walang role ang executive sa impeachment. Of course, did we discuss it with the Speaker? Did we discuss it with the other congressmen? Of course. And tinatanong, anong plano ninyo? Ano ba talagang gusto ninyong gawin? And that's it. Well, nandito na ito. Hindi na namin maiwasan.
But the conventional thinking, Mr. President, is that nothing comes to pass in the House without the President or without Malacanang's blessing.
Well, you give me too much credit. But again, what the House has done is clearly the mandate that they have been, the constitutional mandate that they have to proceed with the impeachment complaints. So that's why I think they're just following the procedure. And ang punot dulo nito na-transmit nila ang impeachment complaints sa upper house.
One last point from my end, Mr. President. Kapansin-pansin na unang pumirma sa endorsement ng anak ninyo. Did he seek your advice on this, and what did you tell him?
Of course, he did. And I said, it was very simple, but I told him. And he said, you know, mukhang magpipirmahan na. What's your opinion? What I should do? And I told him. I said the process is begun. It has parang batas yan eh. When you're in the legislature, when you file a bill, okay, House Bill number 1, 2, 3, etc., etc. Pag file mo niyan, that bill takes a life of its own. Kahit anong gawin ng congressman na nag-file o senador na nag-file, kahit ayaw niya yung mga changes na magagawin doon sa kanyang bill, wala na siyang magagawa. Because the bill is going through the process as it should. And part of that process will be amendments, etc., additions, all that. The impeachment complaint is exactly the same. Once it has been filed, there is a procedure that needs to be followed already. So sabi ko, andyan na tayo, sabi ko kay Kong Sandro, sabi ko sa kanya, the process has already begun. So, it's your duty now to support that process. So, do your duty. That's what I told you. Do your duty. You have to support the process. You are constitutionally mandated to carry out that process. And you are a congressman, so do your duty. That's what I told him. I didn't know you'd be the first to sign, though.
Marisol Halili, News 5.
Sir, magandang hapon po. Sir, you were very vocal before na ayaw niyo po ng impeachment because it's not the right time. But now na it's there already, paano niyo po ito nakikita na makakaapekto, especially dun sa mga ongoing priorities?
Well, it depends on how the Senate chooses to handle it. Hindi pa maliwanag kung ano yung plano ni Senate President at saka yung ating mga senador. Kung paano nila gagawin, if they will immediately convene, if they will still study the rules, if they are going to wait until the next session. So we'll have to wait until they decide on how it's going to be.
Pero just to be categorical about it, sir, don't you see this as a defiance in a way, considering na naging vocal na po kayo before that this is not the right time, and yet nag-proceed pa rin yung impeachment case?
No. I'm sure that the parties that filed the impeachment cases felt strongly about it, and despite my importunings and expressing my opinion that we really would rather not have the impeachment, they continue to do that. So Ay, it's not defiance. May ganyan ang kanilang paniniwala. Sa kanilang paniniwala, kailangan gawin ito. Kahit na sinabi ko na sana wag na, hindi pwede. Hindi namin pwedeng palampasin ito. Ganun ang thinking nila. So, tinuloy nila. And I don't view that as a defiance. I view that as they're expressing what they feel to be right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Janelle Maribohok, UNTV.
Sir, other issue. Sir, ano po yung nasa likod ng biglaang pagpapalit ng liderato po ng PhilHealth at ano po ang inyong direktiba sa bagong PhilHealth President, sir?
Actually, kung titignan ninyo ang qualifications ni Dr. Mercado, he is very, very well versed in both hospital administration, insurance, and his whole life has been devoted to healthcare. And so, it was after nung nag-oath taking kami, matagal kami nag-usap. Sabi ko, baliktad, hindi ko siya ina-advise. He's the expert. So, tinanong ko siya, ano sa palagay mo ang kailangan natin gawin? And we went, pareho kami. Immediately, napunta yung usapan sa digitalization. Kasi maganda naman ang serbisyo ng PhilHealth. Ngunit, yung pag-process ng ng claim, pag-apply, etc. Hindi kinakamay pa rin. Kaya't napakabagal. And that's why that became a priority. But of course, beyond that, he has many other ideas on how to make the services of PhilHealth more inclusive, expanded, and again, to give better coverage for different conditions for those who will avail of the PhilHealth services and of their financial support.
Sir, nagre-resign po ba si...
At sinabi niya sa akin, sige, that's as far as I can tell you. Sabi, I'll go first, I'll go to say in a week's time, sabi niya sa akin, in a week's time, may bigyan kita ng report, much more detailed, kung ano sa palagay ko yung nakikita ko sa PhilHealth na pwedeng palitan, pwedeng palakihin, etc., etc.
Sir, may we know, nag-resign po ba si Relly Desma?
Well, yes, he left his position already. Sabi niya that nahirapan na rin yata siya sa with all of hindi siya sanay sa politika. Mandy Ledesma very much comes from the private sector, so I think he found the transition to be jarring, shall we say.
Thank you, sir.
John Ayu, People's Journal.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, just would like to get your thoughts on Representative Marcoleta's statement that there is no such thing as the West Philippine Sea.
Okay. Okay, so he's expressing his opinion. When I see him, lulukuhin ko siya. He's a candidate, so he has to grab headlines, di ba? So, tama yung ginawa na for a candidate. Ngayon, ever talking about him na. magaling talaga siya sa ganyan.
Sir, yung Chinese monster ship nasa West Philippine Sea for more than a month now, how are you going to respond to this? Will you change your approach? Kasi parang hindi naman umaalis doon sa area.
Well, we don't have the means na paalisin. Hindi naman, buti kung meron tayong aircraft carrier na may kasamang destroyer, frigate at saka submarine na papupuntahin natin doon para matulak silang palayo. Wala naman tayong ganun. Kung sa palakihan at paramihan lang ng barko, malayo tayo sa China. Pero ang policy naman natin is that we will just continue to defend our territorial, our sovereign territory and our territorial rights in the EEZ. Yun lang. Kahit ano pa, ang inisip na, ano bang mission ng Coast Guard? Ano bang mission ng Navy? To protect the territorial integrity of the Philippines. So that's what they will do. They will continue to do that. No matter what any other foreign power does, that is what we will do. Well, when we detect the presence of a foreign vessel who is beginning to intrude or coming close already to our coastal waters, papupuntahan natin ang barko. And we will challenge them. And we will make sure that they know that this is what they are doing is illegal. Of course, they will counter saying that they're doing regular peacekeeping law enforcement patrols. But they will always find they will always find the Philippine presence no matter what they do. Kahit na kahit na banggain na yung barko natin, kahit na mag-water cannon sila, mag-laser sila, kahit kung ano pang gawin na mag-block sila, laging nandyan ang Pilipinas. We will always be there protecting our territory. We will always be there making sure our fishermen are able to exercise their sovereign rights. Nandyan lagi. That's their mission. And if their presence helps to, kasi kung minsan napapaalis nga nila kahit yung malalaking barko, then better. Then then they will have achieved what they are supposed to do while they are patrolling our waters.
Sir, last na lang from me. Sir, last week you said na you had a deal with China. Nagbigay kayo ng kondisyon sa China na you will pull out the typhoon missile if and when China will stop its aggression. Nag-respond na po ba ang China about it?
No. No. I didn't expect them to either. Because, no, I didn't expect them to. And they haven't responded specifically. They've responded in general terms, saying that what they do is a lawful exercise in law enforcement and all that. But no, nothing specific on the missiles, nothing specific about the reduction of tension, the reduction of the aggressive moves, and nothing like that. Wala kaming napag-usapan na ganun.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Alexis Romero, Philippine Star.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. No?
Yes,
Let me just go back to one of our interviews during one of your previous US visits sa Honolulu, Hawaii, when asked about the looming impeachment supposedly that time, no, against Vice President Sara Duterte, no. When asked, no, you told reporters, you told us, binabantayan namin ng mabuti. This was in Honolulu, Mr. President. Binabantayan namin ng mabuti because we don't want her to be impeached. She does not deserve to be impeached, so we will make sure that this is something we will pay very close attention to. So that time, apparently, you do not want her impeached. Given these recent developments, do you hold that stance still, or your position has changed?
It doesn't matter what I think. It will have to go to the procedure. It will go to trial, and we will have senator judges, and they will hear the case. The prosecutors will come from the House. There will be a defense panel, and it will be a trial. It doesn't matter what I think at this point. That was my opinion. That's my opinion when I was asked that. None of this had happened yet. But I have to keep reminding you, the executive wala kaming formal role in the entire impeachment process. The executive has no formal role. If ever there's an informal role, makausap ko yung TV speaker, makausap ko yung congressman, makausap ko yung senador, si SP, makausap ko. But that's about it. Pero they will decide how they will proceed. I don't think you can expect the congressman or the senator or the SP or the speaker to come to me. What do you want us to do? They know what they have their own way of doing things, and that's what they will implement. So siguro the most that a president can do, or any part of the department of the executive can do, is moral suasion. Wag na lang sana. Wala, that didn't work. Natuloy pa rin eh. So, we follow the process.
Salamat po.
Yeah.
Raquel Bayan, Radyo Pilipinas.
Hello, sir. Sir, I know co-equal branch po natin dito po, sir. I know co-equal branch po natin, sir, yung Senate. But are you planning, sir, to, personally ask the Senate kung paano po nila i-handle yung impeachment para po tayo sa executive makapag-address?
Issue ng Paano nila
Kung paano po nila i-handle once na ma-transmit na po sa kanilang impeachment para lang po tayo sa executive, malaman rin po natin kung paano yung gagawin nating adjustment doon sa possible effect po sa bansa nito.
doon sa
Possible effect po ng impeachment sa bansa.
It's not up, again, you should ask now, at least at this point, it's in the Senate. You have to ask that from the Senate. If you're going to ask about the prosecution's case, I don't know if you'll get an answer right now because we've only just started, but they're the ones that you should be asking. From this point on, I'm just a very interested observer. But again, I don't appear, I will not be part of it. There will be no representation from the executive. Why should there be? So, wala talagang we leave it to Congress, now specifically the Senate, to exercise their own wisdom.
Eden Santos, Net 25.
Mr. President, sabi niyo po ang impeachment ay hindi makapagdudulot ng kabutihan sa buhay ng kahit isang Pilipino. Nung nag-ask po ng advice sa inyo si Congressman Sandro Marcos, as a father and as a father of this nation, hindi niyo po ba naisip, na-advisean siya na gawin kanyang duty para sa kapakanan at interest ng mas nakararaming mga Pilipino at yung kung ano po yung standing niyo na sana ay wag matuloy yung impeachment?
The House is a collegial body. They decide as one. And that was what the House decided. He is a member of the House of Representatives. So, as a member of the House of Representatives, he has to do his duty. Whatever his opinions might be, he must do his duty. Even if he's hesitant, all this applies to not only my son, it applies to all the congressmen. Once na-file na yung impeachment complaint, gawin nyo na yung trabaho ninyo. Wala na silang choice. Yun ang tinutukoy ko, yung una kong statement tungkol dito. The Senate has no choice, the House has no choice. That's exactly what the situation is. Once the second that the complaint were filed.
Ang government po ba ay ready kung ano man po yung maging effect implication nung sakaling matuloy po yung impeachment trial sa Senado? If in case po na may effect, kasi magtatrabaho po sila, baka maapektuhan yung kanilang.
Antayin natin kung ano yung gagawin nila. Because I don't know, wala tayong timetable, wala tayong paano yung pag-eco-conduct, what are the rules that will be followed, etc. Antayin natin. It's again, it is up to them how they decide to have their trial. When they have their trial, what are the rules for the trial, how they will conduct it, etc., etc. So, who will be the presiding judge? If we have a senator judge, who will be the presiding? All of that.
Last na lang po, wala po bang plano ang ating Pangulo na pakiusapan po sila? Kayo po, wala po ba kayong plano bilang Pangulo ng ating bansa para pakiusapan mo sila na huwag nang ituloy yung impeachment dahil baka abala nga naman po sa trabaho ng ating gobyerno at syempre sa buhay at pamumuhay ng ating mga kababayan?
The Senate has no choice, the House has no choice. They have to do this now. Once the impeachment complaint was filed, tumakbo na ang proseso. At kung hindi nila ipatakbo yung proseso, then they are delinquent in their duties. That's why they just have. That's what I meant. The House has no choice. They have to proceed with the impeachment complaint. The Senate now has no choice. They have to try the impeachment complaint. So making pakiusap, doing that, it won't change anything. It won't change anything. They still have to have a trial.
Chona Yu, in People's Journal.
Sir, natapos na yung session kahapon ng Congress. Magpapatawag po ba kayo ng special session para so that the Senate can proceed with the
If
impeachment
the
trial?
senators ask for it, yes. Again, sila ang magde-decide. Hindi kami ang nagde-decide dito. If the Senate President calls me up on the telephone, the senators, kinausap ko yung mga senator kung pwede ba mag-special session, sure, gagawin ko. Pero kung wala silang request na ganun, ibig sabihin, may iba pa silang ginagawa. They're not yet ready.
Wala pang request ngayon, sir.
How?
Wala pang request as we
Napakaaga
speak.
naman, they just got it yesterday.
Thank you, sir.
Oo.
Ann Soberano, Bombo Radyo.
Sir, good afternoon. Just want to get your thoughts lang, sir. May kumakalat kasing mga issue din na may mga kapalit na ayuda po. Yung mga pumirma pong mga congressman sa impeachment ay binigyan po daw ng ayuda. Your thoughts on this? Baka sakali, sir, na diversionary tactics or they wanted to undermine yung credibility po ng House?
They're undermining the process. By saying that all this, that, yeah, I've heard also the assertion that may ganon. I don't think so. Overwhelming ang boto ang pumirma. At yung sa ano ba yung pumirma 215. Ang pagkaintindi ko that meron pang mga congressman na gusto sanang pumirma pero out of town. So hindi sila makapunta para pumirma. In fact, nagtatanong ang iba kung pwede e-signature. Mukhang hindi pwede kasi kailangan ka sa harap ng section at saka isusumpa at saka naka-notarize. So, but I don't think that kind of two-thirds of the Senate, 306 sila, they got 215. So just a little bit over two-thirds, hindi mo makukuha sa ganong klaseng sistema yan. I know. I've been in Congress. I don't think that way of operating would have worked. Certainly not to the extent that you get 215 signatures.
Okay. Ana Badjo, GMA News Online.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, may we just get your thoughts on the statement of Representative Paulo Duterte that the impeachment was just an abuse of power and political persecution?
What else would he say? Alam mo naman sabihin niya, tama lahat yan. Dapat talaga siya. It's nothing surprising. We've heard these statements from Congressman Pulong before. I just see his reaction to that. But by Pulong Duterte about Sara Duterte, so not exactly surprising. Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, we have Richmond Quevedo from Tribune.
Sir, may I ask you, do you agree that somehow your opinions or statements has influenced certain members of Congress? Like somehow, sir, parang reverse psychology, like sending a kind of signal?
Well, it did because none of, like I said, wala naman sa yung sasabi kong kaalyado namin sa House ang nag-file ng impeachment. Kasi yan ang pakiusap ko sa kanila, wag na kayo mag-file ng impeachment. So hindi sila nag-file ng impeachment. Ang nag-file ng impeachment, ibang grupo. Hindi mo masasabi yung grupo yung kaalyado ko. So they just did what they felt was needed to be done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, Heidi Sampang, DZAS.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I know nag-i-start pa lang naman po ito, pero gaano po kaya tayo kahanda sa economic impact po ng impeachment trial at posible po kasi itong maka-slow down sa atin pong momentum?
I doubt it very much. Hindi naman siguro. Wala akong nakikita magiging effect na gano'n. Basta patuloy yung ang ating pinaplano, ating mga strategy tungkol sa investment, tungkol sa mga bagong structural changes na lagi kong pinag-uusapan. But yun lang naman ang tinitignan ng investor rin na. So I don't think it will have any effect.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Julie Aurelio, Inquirer.
Good afternoon, sir. If I may recall your statement last year prior to the filing of the impeachment complaints, you said that you didn't want
impeachment complaints to be filed because it would only distract legislators from doing their jobs. It will not serve or benefit any Filipino. Given that, what's your guidance to Congress so that they won't be?
I do not give guidance to Congress.
But how do you solve the problem of not distracting them from their job?
Again, you give me far too much credit that I can tell congressmen to do this and to do that. I cannot. I do not give guidance to Congress. We are independent of each other. Of course, we talk to each other about all kinds of things. But hindi ko kaya may sasabihin, gawin mo ito, gawin mo yan, gawin. Hindi ko kayang gawin yun. And so I don't even attempt to do that. So let's be very clear there. Sure, when I'm talking to them, they ask my opinion. I give them my opinion. But it's up to them to take it or not. You cannot call it guidance.
But are you not afraid that it might derail your effort or it might derail priority measures in Congress because
because
the Senate will be busy with the impeachment. So
slowly, please. I cannot understand.
Are you not afraid that you were afraid before that the impeachment process might derail or might sidetrack the priority measures of your administration, given that this is already happening? Are you not fearful or afraid that it might actually come to pass? Your fears from before.
What did we talk about 80% of the time today? Impeachment. It happened already. It's happening already. Imbis na pag-usapan natin ang agrarian reform, imbis na pag-usapan natin ang climate change, we're talking about impeachment. So what you're asking is I'm not afraid it's about to happen. It's happened. Look at today. Today, we're talking about impeachment the whole time.
Last na lang, sir. When you gave those, when you uttered those words that you're not in favor of impeaching the vice president, that happened when it was not yet filed. You made that clear, very, very clear. And yet, you did say that it is Congress's constitutional duty to let the process go, to let the impeachment process proceed as constitutionally mandated. However, the outcome is actually contrary to what you actually want, which is not to impeach the vice president.
No, where is the contrary? Where is it contrary to what I said?
Because you don't. Your thoughts was you do not want the vice president to be impeached. That's what you said before.
So that's
given given that. Do you feel that don't you have any ill feelings towards congressmen who led to the transmittal of the impeachment articles to the Senate?
The congressmen with who I'll just repeat it again. Lahat ng natatawag kong kaalyado ko sa House of Representatives, wala sa kanila ang nag-file.
But they signed it, sir.
Huh?
But they signed it.
Because it's already there. Nandyan eh. Ano pang gagawin nila? And there was a very clearly a large bloc in Congress, at least 215, who wanted to sign the impeachment. They did not file a case because I asked them not to. Paikot-ikot na tayo. I'm sorry?
Mr. President, did you not ask them not to sign the impeachment complaint? Since sabi niyo po na napakiusapan niyo sila.
Nobody filed. None of the members of the parties that we are in alliance with filed an impeachment complaint.
Yes po, sabi niyo napakiusapan niyo sila na wag mag-file kaya wala pong nag-file na kaalyado ninyo. Hindi niyo rin po ba sila napakiusapan na wag mag-sign dun sa itinransmit sa Senado para
wala
sa
na akong pakialam doon. Tapos na, it's already in the House. That's the House decision. Yung congressman ang magde-decide kung ano yung gagawin niya. Dahil pananagutan nga ng House of Representatives yan. You keep, there's this constant implication that I am somehow giving instructions and making utos do this and do that and do that. That's not the case at all. That's not how it works. Not at all. Not at all.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
All right? Okay na tayo. Oh, sige.
Thank you.
Okay, see you next month.